What's up, y'all? This is Ty. I am here to review Season 4, Episode 4 of Power Book 3, Raising Kanan. And the episode is titled, The Way We Were. Now, before I get into this episode, you know what I gotta do. I gotta give a shout out to my lovely subscribers and say thank you to all of you for your showing your love and your support. Shout outs to Tayon's World, June BLC, The RC Kroger, Lamont Simpson, Oh Boogie Baby, P Bronson, and all the rest of you. I do truly appreciate you. And shout outs to those of you who gave me a Cashapp. I don't know if you want me to say your name because I didn't see your name in the comments on a previous video, so I don't know if you wanted your name listed, but I do appreciate it. Someone Cashapped me $5. I appreciate that. Listen, I don't be on here begging. So someone asked for my Cash App. I gave them the Cash App. They gave me $5 because they said they like the show. They like what I do here. So thank you. I appreciate you. Let me know in the comments section if it's okay to say your name, because sometimes people don't like their real name given. So that's why I didn't say your name. But thank you. I do appreciate you for that. You know who you are. All right. Let's get down to this review. This episode, I thought it was pretty good. It starts off with, what was his name? Tremont. He's on a nice, looks like he's in this nice fancy hotel, nice view. He's sitting out on the balcony. Life is good. He's feeling good. Walks into the room, bam, gets knocked out by Marvin. So I'm like, dang, I didn't see that coming. Marvin is dressed like he's a hotel worker and he's taking Tremont with him. Takes Tremont to an abandoned pool where he's torturing, has him tied up, beating him. And I'm like, what's going on here? What is this? What are we doing here? And so we're trying to figure out what's going on. And what we do learn is that they want to know who Tremont's drug supply is. Who's his heroin supplier? And so Rock joins in on the fun and the torture. They're scaring the mess out of Tremont. And he's like, that's all y'all wanted, man? I could have told y'all that. Said, hey, you from Baltimore? I thought y'all was tougher than this in Baltimore. You really all scared like that? So he does tell them who his supplier is because Rock is serious about getting a supplier. But not just getting a supplier. She wants to be a supplier. So we see Rock meet up with the guy after Tremont tells him her and Marvin meet up with the guy to find out who he is. And the guy was like, you know what? You come back, but come back without him. Talking about Marvin. So she comes back without Marvin. And you talking about what he put this lady through I was like, what is all of this? Has her come into the restaurant, go all the way through the kitchen to the back. So I'm thinking, they're going to speak in the back. No. There's a car waiting. And I was like, you going to get in that? And Rock was even like, yo, what's up with this? And he was like, listen, this is how we do business here. You either get in the car or you don't. So Rock gets in the car. And I'm like, that's a little creepy. They take her to another place. She gets out, goes into this beautiful home, fancy. And the guy sits with her for about 20 seconds and tells her, you'll hear from me soon. Y'all made me go through the woods and down the hall and back behind this door and into a car. You made Rock do all of that. That's how I would have been feeling like, yo, you made me go through all these hoops just so you say we'll be in touch. Really? Because he was like, I don't really deal with certain people, but I got a good feeling about this, blah, 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 blah. Really, sir? Really? But hey, so that was all that to say that he'll be in touch. Meanwhile, what else happened in this episode with Raquel? We see them, that conversation she has with her mother Joyce, who is dying from kidney cancer. And she tells her mother, she says, you telling people you're dying over cornbread and collard greens? That's how you pick a way to do it. Her mother said, I had to let you guys know. And they go into a back and forth. And it was a really good conversation because we're learning the dynamics of the two of them. And apparently, because, when we first met her mother was at church somewhere a few seasons back. And she seemed like she was this, highfalutin church going lady and just judgmental or whatever. But no, turns out she was a bad mother. And she has her flaws, and she was selfish because Rock let her know she was selfish. But she also said to Rock, she said, well, how did you want me to do this or whatever? This is the way I felt I should do it. I thought you all should know. And Rock said, it's just like with Daddy. And I'm like, wait, didn't her father commit suicide? And so Rock somehow blames her mother for her father's committing suicide. So she's like, oh, you see how you put everything on me is basically what she said. See how you put everything on me, and their conversation was really good, and we see that they're flawed. There's a lot of things going on in here, and Rock tells her, "Listen, I can't do this. You want me to forgive you, and I just can't do that right now. You're asking for forgiveness. I can't do that." So I thought that was really interesting. And Joyce just want to know if anybody's going to miss her when she's gone. Then we see OC bringing Kanan the news about what happened, about the place being robbed. And this gives Crystal the time to say, see, this is why we should have our business separated from our home and in their new home. And then she finds out that Jukebox is on her way over. And she's like, Jukebox hates me. Now, remember, the reason is because these two were in butter together. And I forgot that for a second. I was like, why would Jukebox hate her? And then I remembered, oh, right, this is the chick that got Jukebox jumped when they were in butter. So Kanan purposely leaves these two alone. And Jukebox was pissed off. And Crystal shows him the place. And they have a conversation, and Crystal apologizes, but then Jukebox is like, yo, you got me jumped. And Crystal says, yeah, but they was weak and you beat them down. You're not helping right there. But she's, you got the upper hand. But then she says, I was in a bad place. I don't expect you to forgive me, but butter was all I needed. Butter was my way out. And Jukebox beat me to it. So I was thinking the same thing. Jukebox says, so is Kanan now your way out? She says, no, I really love him, and you're very important to him, so I want me and you to be cool because I want to be important, you to be important to me too. I need you to like me, basically what she was saying. So we'll see where that relationship goes. Meanwhile, Kanan is over there talking to Pops and Snaps. I love their name, Pops and Snap. And they're pretty much telling him, you came up short with the money, but we're going to let you slide. And they're telling him, you got to make some choices and got to make some things. And so he goes into another agreement with them, and they tell him, let's fill some things out. Let's talk some things out. Let's work some things out. And, they have him go see Quan, where he tells Quan, I am my own man. You could deal with me, not deal with my mother. You can deal directly with me. I am my own man. So I said, okay, that's interesting. Then he tries to go to Stefano, and I like that. Stefano was like, I don't want to meet you. I don't want to hear nothing to you. Go respect your mom. He said, your mother borrowed $500,000 from me to save you. You know how much she cares about you, and you going behind her back. He said, no, I'm not going behind her back. Stefano was like, get out of here. I ain't dealing with you. I ain't working with you. But Stefano will work with Rock's brother. I'm talking about Marvin. Because now, remember the sports betting person, bookie, that Marvin killed? He needs Marvin to replace him. So he tells Marvin, I need you to replace him. So what does Marvin do? Marvin goes to Early, and he asks Early. But here's the funny thing. Early was having a conversation with Unique, who's still in the shadows. And he's like, I think it's time for me to reveal myself. And Early tells him, I don't think that's a good idea. And as they're having that conversation, he said, here comes Marvin. So, of course, Unique disappears. He doesn't come out and say anything. And that's when Marvin makes a proposal to Early about being the new person in charge of the sports betting thing. And they have a conversation. Then they have a meetup with Stefano. And Stefano tells Marvin, listen, this is going to be the new guy, but I'm letting you know if he F's up, it's going to fall on you, especially since you killed the last guy. So that was good. That's how all of that worked out. Meanwhile, let's talk about Unique here. Unique Unique is still in the shadows doing things. And so he goes and what does he do? What's that guy's name? I think the guy's name is Damon. He goes and remember the guy, he goes to New Jersey and visits this guy who used to work. And he said, what is this? What do you want me? The guy says, what is it you want with me, man? Y'all already took my business. Y'all already messed things up with me. So what is this? He says, listen, it wasn't me. It was basically Rock. She messed us both up. This is a way that we can go. His name is Damon, right? This is a way that we can go and get back at her. So what they do, and I'm like, that's crazy. He tells him, listen, we're going to do something to get back at her. So they go and attack Terry's supply place and kill off some people. And unfortunately, see, Damon, you should have stayed home. You should ignore this. Damon ends up getting killed in the process. And Unique escapes barely because he almost got clipped. But now Terry's not happy about this, and rightfully so. And he's telling Rock when she comes, her and Marvin. He's telling her, listen, this ain't how I do business. And she's like, oh, we're just a few little. He said, listen, all this killings and stuff seem like every time somebody's in business with you, some kind of killings. What is this? She says, look, one of my people, Damon, he's a little salty. He was one of those bodies that's Damon. He's salty. We will handle this. Now, Terry wants nothing to do with them anymore, but his nephew's like, we good. We going to stay in business. This is cool, especially when Rock hands him some money. And then Terry's like, oh, that's no good. And he's like, yes, it is good. It's definitely good. So that was interesting. And I'm like, dang, everything just keeps falling apart for Rock. I know Rock is getting frustrated. But then there's still more going on with her. She goes home. She's home. She gets a knock on the door. The detectives come to her house and they tell her they want to ask her questions about Andre. Now, Andre's her lawyer. And she's like, look, they said, Andre's dead. We know he went to lunch with you or dinner with you. She said, look, I ain't got nothing to do with that. And, that she's not answering no questions. She's like, I have no. And then when they leave, she's like, oh. Like, what is going on? And she's starting to connect, like, somebody's really messing with me. Somebody is really, truly effing with me. Then we have this whole situation with B-Rilla and Lulu and this new product development lady, Amaya Muku, I forget her name. Pretty young lady. And B-Rilla's in the studio, and she's the product manager or product marketing manager, whatever, for the label. And she tells Lulu that she wants to help, but she's sent in to help they can make, because she believes rap is going to be the next pop music. And Lulu's like, that ain't going to happen. But he's wrong, because years later, rap music does become the popular music, and it is the mainstream music. So they're here. She's there to help them sell records. Lulu's not really down with that. But then they have a meeting with the record exec, and the record exec says, you two have to work together. They have another meeting, so we're going to see where all that goes. And then they mention Famous. Where in the hell is Famous? No one knows. And, he says to that product manager, he tells her, oh, yeah, I know him. He's just taking a breather or whatever. Then we see later Lulu having a conversation with Kanan and B-Rilla at his home. And this was funny. This was a little bit funny because Kanan's like, yo, he lives here? Come to find out, B-Rilla doesn't like living alone, because when he's alone, he gets in trouble. So he's still driving Lulu crazy by being at Lulu's house. So Kanan was like, oh, okay, whatever. And then Lulu asked Kanan, where is Famous? And he's like, I don't know, it's crazy. And so that was interesting that they both don't know. We need to know what's going on. They said they spoke to Famous's sister. He ain't down there. Where is Famous? We got to figure that out. Then we see, what else happened? Oh, Unique also goes, after the shooting up the thing, he also goes to that lady Teresa, Sal's wife. Remember Sal that was killed off, that Marvin killed? And he's making some deal with her about avenging that death and all that. So he's really trying to stack the cards up against Rock. And then we have the lovely Jukebox, a.k.a. Laverne, out with her new friends at the lesbian bar, and she's meet some girl comes up to her, and she's getting used to this stuff. She's a little shy at first. She doesn't do anything. She doesn't deal with it. And then I believe the other young lady that's there with her mentions her family, how her family's not good. Now, as they're leaving, the young lady's leaving with Jukebox. You know, they're walking, and there's a man in the shadows. Turns out this is that young lady. I believe her name is Mara. This is her husband. And he comes up, and, you know, they try to avoid him, and Jukebox is like, you know him? He comes up, knocks Jukebox down, grabs his wife, and leaves. Now, when Jukebox come home, Marvin sees that and like, yo, what happened? So now they go to retaliate. They go find the place where this guy stays. And Marvin, rightfully so, brings his gun at first. And Jukebox stops him like, no, let's not do that. Don't bring your gun. Don't bring your gun because I don't want, please, just leave it here. And I'm like, the minute she said that, I said, watch things go left because she told him to leave it there. Marvin goes upstairs. He knocks on the door, keeps banging on the door, opens the door instantly. Bam! First of all, how you even know this is the guy, Marvin? But damn, Marvin goes in, busts through the door. Not bust through the door, open the door, bust him in the face, roughing him up pretty good, told him, stay away from her or I'll be back. He turns his back. You never turn your back on your enemy. You got to walk out like this. You don't turn your back. He turns his back. Homeboy cuts him, gets the best of him. Now he's on the ground, and the guy's about to stab him. Laverne, a.k.a. Jukebox, is noticing Daddy's taking quite a long time. So she's like, you know what? Let me go upstairs. She comes upstairs, bang, shoots the guy, kills him, and they get in the car and drive off. And that's how this episode ended. It was a really good episode. I enjoyed it. I need to know what's going on with you. I need to know what's going on with Famous. Where's Famous? We got to get that resolved. And I can't, like I say this every review, I can't wait for the next episode. I really enjoyed this episode. You know how this show does. They pace and they throw things in us. They move a little slow with certain things, but it's a good pacing. So that's all I have for now. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you all in the next video.